Good day and welcome to SCO BRICS Insight. We look at what's really going on in the world of the BRICS. Now today I'm going to talk about Norway, the EU, and the fact that Norway's cutting off electricity supplies to the EU. Now, Brussels recently encountered a new challenge which has coincided with a period of rising gas and electricity prices in Europe. Norway's decided to cut off its supply of electricity to the EU and the UK. Now, in recent years, Europe has invested significantly in the development of renewable energy sources with the dual objectives of reducing air pollution and reducing its reliance on Russian energy resources. Germany in particular has been heavily reliant on Russian oil and gas, with these resources used to accounting for over 50% and 33% of its gas and oil balance respectively. However, the rapid development of renewable energy has not only not met climate objectives, but it's also not helped as Brussels hoped to rid the EU of Russian energy resources and strengthen its energy security. All it's done is led to an overstrain of the energy networks on the continent due to the instability of electricity generation from solar and wind energy caused by the dependence on the weather. Who would have thought? Now, before I continue, I'd like to make an appeal. If you like and enjoy my videos, you can help me fund the channel and my website scobricsinsight.com to further develop it. You can do this by making a small donation, which is done by clicking on the thanks button at the bottom of the video screen. Everybody who donates does get a personal thank you from me, and I'm thanking you all now. It seems the shortcomings and miscalculations of the EU's energy policy are particularly evident in Germany, where energy networks are increasingly reliant on the variability of weather conditions. Now, during winter months when sunlight and wind are limited, the country relies on significant electricity imports from neighbouring countries, and Norway is a major electricity supplier to Europe's economy, and Germany's reliance on it carries substantial costs. As Germany's electricity consumption rises, Norway's export increases in proportion, and that results in higher costs for the Norwegian population themselves. Now, this dynamic is unsustainable in the long term, as Norway's economy is accustomed to a cheap electricity grid facilitated by its abundant hydropower resources. Now, the Nordic countries' population is getting increasingly upset with the fact that they're paying for Berlin's missteps in energy policy, says energy expert of Bloomberg, Javier Blas. Norway, being a significant energy supplier to Germany, has said it's had enough with the current situation that's already led to major challenges by Norwegian politicians. The residents of the Nordic Kingdom are particularly pissed off with the fact that they're having to financially support the EU and German energy policies, despite the fact they're not even members of the EU. Now, the political crisis began in Norway after the Eurosceptic Centre Party left the ruling coalition, turning Prime Minister Johan Gahr Store's government into a minority administration with its current consequences. Now, Store and his ministers are working hard to develop a mechanism to control and basically cut off exports to Europe. For the EU, any reduction in Norwegian electricity supplies would be highly damaging, given Brussels' long-standing support for its northern flank and Norway's position as the third largest energy exporter to the EU last year. The reduction in Norwegian energy exports EU will lead to greater uncertainty and volatility in the market and increased tensions between the EU members who are most dependent on the Nordic Kingdom. I mean, this is going to put the unity of a united Europe to the test, and in addition to the evident disadvantages, optimists can see at least one benefit. It might be possible to finally convince the European citizens and the officials that the green transition, i.e. the replacement of fossil fuels with renewable energy sources, is both a time-consuming and costly exercise that isn't going to work. It's imperative to recognise that the hasty implementation of these without thorough consideration has led to all of these major challenges. And Europe's experience should be a lesson for supporters of the fastest possible rejection of gas, oil and coal on other continents and countries. I mean, when the European Union imposed its tough sanctions on Russian oil and gas, Norway made grand promises to save Europe from the energy crisis by making its oil and gas available to the EU. Well, the situation is very reminiscent of the saying, well, promise but we didn't get married. The hopes of the Union of 27 for a comfortable life without Russian gas so captivated the European population that no one paid attention to the warnings of some analysts who said that Scandinavian energy sources were not enough to meet the European demand when they rejected Russia. So in addition to the existing energy ties with the UK will be ended, and this is due to the fact that the exorbitant electricity prices will increase further if it continues to export electricity during this current cold periods. Now, this situation is going to seriously impact energy security in the UK as they rely on Norway for electricity during critical times when the sun doesn't shine and the wind doesn't blow. I mean, the UK government under Sir Wang Keir and Mad Ed Miliband are facing challenges in keeping the lights on and maintaining energy supplies since they decided to phase out completely fossil fuel generation and rely on alternative sources such as unicorn farts, dragons breathing fire with a little contribution from wind and solar. Now, it's well documented that people tend to become agitated when they're cold and hungry, so therefore there's a possibility that we might see some unrest before this winter's over. I mean, calm weather conditions in the North Sea where the wind turbines are located have resulted in electricity prices in southern Norway reaching 1.2 euros per kilowatt hour in December, and that's the highest level since 2009 and 20 times higher than the previous week. So the EU and the UK continue to face problems, having dumped cheap and reliable energy from Russia. And you reap what you sow. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and also hit the alert button so you know when I post a new video. If you want to support me, click on the thanks button and make a donation, and I'll see you all again soon. Thank you.